My name is Anthony. Welcome to the Scalability Podcast. Oh my God.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Scalability Podcast. And today we are sitting here with my man, Sam Khuc. And we are actually downtown San Jose right now. We decided to shoot the podcast outside because it's a beautiful day, beautiful life. And you know what? So I just want to give a real quick intro about you from my perspective. So Sam and I have known each other for years now. It's been almost, 6-7 years?
I lost count.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, yeah, Sam, he's actually the CEO of Shapeshift Group, and there's an amazing story behind it. And basically, they work with some of the biggest car dealerships across the United States, and they have a hyper focus on Facebook ads. So today we're going to get to know a little bit about Sam's background, where he comes from, and basically how he built what he's built. And I will say, when it comes to everybody that I know, Sam has had one of the biggest influences on my company, Outsource Plug, when it comes to building operations that are scalable so that I, as a CEO, can have freedom. So with that being said, Sam, what's up?
Cool, man. Thanks for having me. I'm glad that this is a business podcast and not like Call Her Daddy or like a comedy Joe Rogan, because I can only speak about business. I don't know about anything else.
But bro, so it is a business podcast, and I think that when it comes to business, behind every successful business, there's a successful leader, right? And there's somebody who's back there building it and leading an organization. So every entrepreneur has kind of a different style of how they lead a company and their strengths, right? You have some people that are very sales focused, some people that are very marketing focused, some people that are tech focused, some people that are product focused. Where would you say that you fall in those categories?
100% is marketing. Marketing actually boosts a lot of our sales and provides the most opportunities for our company. It's just been something that I've always been passionate about, marketing. I think the cool thing about marketing, and this is when I first experienced the power of marketing, I was running like a little e-commerce business, eBay business, a tiny business out of my dorm selling car decals. And I noticed that back then when I did just amateur marketing, email blasts, I didn't really know what I was doing, but magically my sales would go up, right? And I thought, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
If I do really good marketing, I'm going to make a lot more money. So that's what got me in the game.
Dude, and so something I know about you, okay, so we are the complete opposites in respect to, I am the absolute ultimate extrovert.
Yeah.
You are okay being in the shell for 10 years and not coming out.
Yeah.
You literally don't require any human interaction at all.
Yes.
And you prefer it.
Yes.
Like you prefer no human interaction. If anything, I feel very special because I'm like one of the VIPs on the list that could hit up Sam.
We broke through.
So for all the other introverts out there who maybe they feel like they have to be an extrovert to be successful in business, like what do you have to say to these people?
Okay, so despite being an introvert, right, I am on sales calls when my sales team needs me. I am making YouTube video content. And that did not come easy, first of all, right? First of all, I had a vision that this company was going to be built not from door to door or going to dealerships and waiting there for the GM and things like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do marketing, digital marketing, and reach a lot more people faster, right? So I had a game plan in terms of, okay, I need to create content via like social media, influence in the space. And I had to put my face out there, right? Because I felt like a lot of companies, in our space anyway, was hiding behind logos and things like that. And there was no face to it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be the face of this company, be a personal touch to our marketing. And I remember that first day I was recording a video, getting ready to record my first video, right? I had a little selfie vlog, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this.
Yeah.
If you're going to judge how I look or how I talk. The first sentences, it took me so many takes to get through 2 sentences, right?
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of pushing outside of your comfort zone and just doing it. And then the more I did it, the more I did the videos, now I can just go in the studio like Lil Wayne, do it in one take. No scripts, no bullet points. It's just whatever comes to my mind, I can trust that it's going to hit the audience and it's going to provide value.
Can you give us like a practical example of one of those videos working when you actually meet a potential client?
What do you mean, like one of these videos working?
Have you hopped on a sales call and they're like, dude, I love the videos that you did, or I saw the videos, I wanted to talk to you, and then they become a client?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's usually how we get clients into our marketing funnel, which is, I would say, responsible for 90% of our sales is through our marketing videos, our YouTube content, our paid ads on Facebook with my video, my face on it, things like that. So yeah, they always come and say, hey, I saw you talk about this, or I saw you talk about that. That's really relevant, and that's a problem I have as well. So you guys know what you're talking about. I wanted to come and talk to you guys.
Yeah. So okay, coming back to the videos and running paid ads, I'm really curious because a lot of people who are watching this content also make content like this, but like for me, we're just barely getting started on the video side and putting out video, and we're doing a fantastic job. We're doing everything that like Gary Vee says to do, doing the long form content, breaking it down, putting it on all the platforms. However, we haven't even started running paid ads, right? So like, what would you recommend to people who already have video content, but haven't ran paid ads? And I'll tell you, like, what confuses me personally is like, okay, I understand how to create an audience. I understand exactly who I'm going after, but it's like, what, do I just run the video to them? Am I supposed to create a landing page? Like, how am I supposed to do it where it's actually going to be effective?
Okay. So I think the mistake a lot of people make when they're thinking about running paid ads is they take whatever content they have filmed so far, organic content, maybe content that's gone viral, and they think, okay, let me put some dollars behind this, and then hopefully I'll get some leads from this really popular piece of content that I created. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is you should actually design dedicated content for your funnel, right? So it starts with really think about a script, right? And you have to think about this video in terms of if you're running Facebook ads, which is what I primarily run, someone's scrolling through, right, the newsfeed, right, and they're gonna really not be paying attention so much. So you really gotta, one, capture their attention right away, right? You gotta have a nice, sexy hook that's relevant to them, right? Is there a problem that they're dealing with that they can, they can identify with?
Best hook that's worked for you.
The best hook that's worked for me is it's like stating who they are, stating who the ad is for, right? Because if you don't say who the ad is for, you're gonna get a bunch of random people watching it, and then it's gonna fuck up your algorithm. Can I say that?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. We don't give a fuck.
Okay, so this is a raw podcast. Cool. So you gotta say who they are, because everyone who's not that is going to opt out and not watch the video. So and I don't recall exactly. I made this video a while back, but it's still generating a ton of leads. It's like, if you're a dealership running paid ads on Facebook and you don't know how many cars you're selling, or you're generating low quality leads, most likely your problem is your targeting is off. So it's like, who is it for? What problems they're dealing with? What's the reason for their problem, and then maybe offering like a solution, and then jumping into the content a little bit more.
So realistically, before you even get to this step, like, people have to be like micro niche already, right? Like, they have to be, because like, for example, there's real estate agents, right? There's probably a lot of real estate agents who are going to watch this, right? And you ask a lot of real estate agents, who do you service? And they're like, anyone who can buy a house, right? Versus like, hey, if you are a professional athlete in the Bay Area, we are the real estate team for you. So how about, why don't you just like give us a space that you're not in, like an example of just something off the top of your head that you might know a little bit about?
Okay, let's say like you are a vet and you specialize in Pomeranians and Chihuahuas.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So you can say something like, if you own Pomeranian or small dog Chihuahua, and you're just tired of going to the vet and they just have snakes, squirrels, cobras, cats, and they're chucking in one animal at a time, in and out, and they don't really understand what's going on with your little puppy, your baby girl, then you should probably start trying to find a specialist that's an expert in like the type of animal that you have.
Totally.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Like I just wanted to test, right?
Okay, so that's like, okay, that was really rough, but like you get the skeleton
Yeah.
of that, right? I want to touch a little bit more about niches because when I started, right, and when you start any business, you kind of say yes to a lot of things, right? Because you're just trying to get money on the table, right, in the books. So in the beginning, I was saying yes to real estate agents as well. I was saying yes to people that wanted me to build websites and everything like that, right? I was trying to be the be-all, end-all, anything you need in marketing, come to me. But it wasn't really my specialty. So what I found was I actually wasted a lot more time, learning about these people's industry. Sometimes I would take on a client, I don't really understand their industry, so there would be a learning process, right?
Yeah.
And so the learning process, they have to spend money to learn. I'm learning on, both of our times, right? And their dime as well. And with marketing, no one really gets it right immediately, right? And if that's especially true for an industry that you've not worked with in the past.
Yeah.
So it might even take a longer learning period. And they didn't have the patience for that, right? They wanted like, oh, I'm not getting results, I'm just gonna cancel, right? So I just wasted my time trying to do this, and then they cancel.
Yeah.
Or websites, I'm not really good at websites, but I was trying to do that.
Yeah.
So what I quickly learned was, this is taking me away from what I'm doing best and being an expertise on this.
Yeah.
If I focus on just this and get really good at it, one, I'm going to be able to scale a lot easier because the next dealership that comes on, I know exactly what to do with it.
Right.
So it is super important to niche down, right? You have this mentality, yeah, man, all money is on the table. I'm gonna, I'm saying yes to everything. I'm a hustler, but that's gonna bite you in the ass real fast.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to, especially when it comes to newer entrepreneurs or like just coming into the game, they feel like they have to be that person who does everything for their client. They feel like whatever their client asks of them, they absolutely have to do, and they, because they don't understand that if they just dial down their expertise, they can actually make more money if they're an expert at something versus. It's basically, I heard a term the other day. I'd rather be an inch wide and a mile deep than a mile wide and an inch deep, right? So basically that's kind of what you're saying right there. So, okay, now you have the ad, you have the hook, okay? You figured out your niche, right? So let's say outsource plug. We work with a lot of real estate marketing agencies. Hey, what's going on, Bay Area real estate marketing agencies? If you guys are looking for photo editors that can edit these specific kind of photos that you like, you're tired of working with all these companies, we have them in stock right now, for example.
Sure.
Okay, boom, I got my ad. Now what? Do I gotta create a landing page?
Oh yeah, you gotta create a landing page.
Okay.
So you create a landing page, and I think, a really good thing to do is study all the best marketers like Russell Brunson, Alex Becker, all these guys that are selling products out there. I'm sure you've seen their ads, right? Because these guys spend millions of dollars on advertising. Study the landing page. You'll see that they all have a similar tactic, right? It's like some of them do a landing page to say just email opt-in, right? So it'll be like just a really simple page. And when you click, it says you have to opt in to get to the next page where all the gold is, right? The video or whatever offer that you're trying to get them to be interested in, that's on the other side of the email submission. Or some people will do will opt out of that email submission and just land them straight to the landing page and try to get them to book an appointment right there. But there's a ton of guys running ads. The next time you see an ad, this is how I kind of study the space as a marketer, is I love looking at ads that capture my attention on Facebook, right? Because then I start to digest it and okay, well, what made me interested in clicking? What made me interested in stopping the scroll? Let's check out this guy's landing page. What is he doing on his landing page, right? But they're all pretty similar. If you click a bunch and you actually study these marketers, it's okay, they have a video, right, of explaining, basically selling the product a little bit, and then they have testimonials, results, and then an appointment to book a call with them so they can, learn more about your business, and then do a consultation call. It's a pretty standard formula.
Wow. Okay. So then basically you're saying that practical advice for someone who's listening to this. I think it'd probably be even more valuable if they see an ad within their space, because we tend to get, like, as owning an outsourcing company, I get marketed by all the outsourcing companies. Like, I see everything, right?
Yeah.
And I'm constantly learning from them. So you're saying, really, the next time I see one, go to that landing page, reverse engineer, see what they're doing, and pretty much build my own.
Yeah.
Use this formula that you use for the hook, or for the script, and then, I mean, I know how to create the audiences and stuff, and drive traffic that way. So you're saying if I do these 3 things, I should get some sort of result.
Yeah. So here's the second side of that though. Like, you can start with like doing a dedicated paid marketing funnel, right, where you collect leads, have people try to book. But something to actually support that is having remarketing emails, that when someone submits their email, right, they get every few days a valuable email from you, telling people, hey, this is why you should book. Oh, hey, here's some results. It could be the same stuff that is on your landing page, but like dissected, right, into different emails. Every email is like a little bit of different thing.
So we just hired like a copywriter, and what I plan on having them do, like all of our shorts that are about our service, dude, like this copywriter, like Beba knows, like she took one of our videos and wrote like the sickest like copy. My mind was like blown, right? So pretty much, practically, I can get that. If I want to take practical steps towards that, I can get that copywriter to look at some old videos, and then each video could be like an email follow-up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
With my content, I also have a YouTube channel that's pretty popular in the space. It's small, like, overall, but in the space, it's pretty popular. And I'll send people like just on my marketing list, like links to my YouTube videos, right? So they'll get, an email with a message. Next one is an email with a video, and they constantly hit them. So that way, like, if I don't get them initially when they see the ad and they click into the little opt-in page, right? And they think it's interesting, but they click out. They're not bought in yet. I keep on hitting them with both ads on Facebook. We target them with different ads on Facebook, and also in their email inbox.
Okay, nice, dude. So now I want to get into. I feel like we did this a little opposite. I'm usually like a big. I like starting with like the come up story first, right? We kind of dove straight into business, which is like totally natural for what you and me, bro. We always are talking about like just these straight tactics. And
you wanted to get into the secret sauce.
Yeah, dude.
Real fast, right?
And I feel like anybody.
I see Pepe taking notes over there.
And anybody who's been listening to this already, man, you guys, if you guys don't know that Sam's the real deal by now, he absolutely 100% is. So. With that being, for those on the podcast, his shirt says "Merry Christmas" and it's Mike Tyson on it.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that. Sorry for interrupting. When you said "real deal," Mike is the real deal.
Yeah, Mike is the real deal. But you know what, dude? You're like the Vietnamese Mike Tyson of the industry, man. Like straight up.
I'm missing a face tattoo.
So, if you could just give like some stats on your company, right? So, because I know that you guys are a multi-million-dollar company, especially because you guys have a shit ton of ad spend, right? That counts towards your revenue. Give us like an idea. You don't have to give away everything, but just so people know, like, okay, who are they listening to right now?
All right, let me pull out my phone because I don't have. Honestly, like, I'm so focused on like the business day to day that I rarely look up at the total numbers, like, oh, what's on the scoreboard.
Are you looking at Podio?
No, I'm not looking at Podio. I'm looking at my website, because that's the stuff that potential customers would see as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, shape.
Are you a Virgo?
Man, everyone, I swear, no one can get this
Aries.
right. It's Aries.
It's Aries. Oh, you're an Aries.
Everyone says Virgo or Taurus.
Okay, well, because it looks like a V, right? But I see the ram horns now.
Okay, so and I think these stats are probably like four or 5 months old, but we've launched 610 campaigns so far. We have served 188 clients. Manage 4.1 million in total ad spend, and have clients in 35 states.
Damn.
Like 4 or 5.
And guys, these are not like simple clients to get either. Like So the way that Sam and I met, all right, before we get into your backstory, let's talk about this real quick. So Sam and I met at a company called Dealer CMO, or Dealer Chief Marketing Officer. They are a marketing agency in San Jose that works with bigger franchise dealerships, and what they do is they basically take over the entire marketing process. And I mean, you probably know what they do better than I do, actually. How would you simplify what they do?
So they come in, it's the name CMO, right? Chief Marketing Officer. So they pretty much come in to act like your Chief Marketing Officer, to serve as that role and look at your budget and, manage your processes, cut out stuff that isn't working, put in stuff that they know works. They have, lots of good in-house stuff that they cooked up that no one else in the industry is even paying attention to at that level.
Yeah.
And just making sure that their marketing services are held accountable by results, month over month, year over year. Tie that into the dealership's goals and try to hit those goals. So it's more than just, okay, you're paying me to manage some ads for you, right?
Yeah.
It's basically your marketing officer in your dealership.
So basically, that's where we were working, and I originally started in the sales department there. And I absolutely hated it. And so Sam, he was at that time running a department called Craig's Max, and basically that was like the part of the company that handled putting cars on Craigslist for these car dealerships. And there was an opening that came up, and I decided to apply. Take it from here.
I mean, my memory of this was, I think I was on my way out. I was transitioning into trying to start my first business, which ultimately failed, but learned a ton of that. But that's time for a subject for later or something like that. But I was on my way out. I was like doing part-time, and Ed was trying to fill like different parts of my role with a few different people. And one day I remember Anthony, our sales guy, came over and started poking around and started asking me questions. And I was like, how is this kid asking me a bunch of questions? Why am I getting interrogated? But, eventually, he expressed interest in working on the, operations side of things and not just the sales side of things. So I took him under my wing, I would say, a little bit.
He did. Yeah,
and,
he absolutely did. I remember that little test that you put in front of me. Dude, did you think that I could answer that test? Like, you did?
I don't even remember what this test
Dude,
was.
I remember you gave me like a bunch of numbers, and you were like, okay, take all of these numbers. Like, here's, I don't know. It was just a bunch of like, it was like, this car's been on the lot for this many days. Yeah, a bunch of different metrics. And you just gave me a bunch of stuff, and you're like, here, take that.
Oh yeah, it was like a problem. Yeah.
Like, give me a solution. And then I remember like, I don't know, I did like some trending and shit, and I solved it one way, and then you were like, yeah, you solved it that way, but you know that there's this other way to solve it too, and I'm like, oh shit.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah. But dude, okay, you have no idea though how. So ultimately, he fucking brought me on the team.
Yeah.
Even though like my personality type wasn't right for that team, my experience wasn't right. My background compared to everybody else's background, completely different. So ultimately, he brought me on the team. But him bringing me on the team was absolutely pivotal for like my future and what I would end up doing today, right? And having right around 200 virtual assistants with Outsource Plug, and next year we're going to grow even bigger. But the stuff that I learned in that department and the stuff that you taught me, it still implements it today. So, dude, why did you even hire me, bro?
Okay, so I think I just liked your curiosity, right? You were like, you didn't have, like you said, the background, but like I felt like because you were so curious and you're asking the right questions, I feel like, okay, this is a smart kid. I can mold this kid into the person he is today, which is the CEO of Outsource. Anakin.
Yeah, dude, I'm freaking. I'm about to be Darth Vader here real soon. But all right, so what advice would you give? Okay, because again, guys, like I'm looking at this. Guys, I have ADHD. I can hardly focus. I'm like a sales guy through and through, but I wanted an opportunity to work in more of an operational role. And again, like I didn't even know if I was going to get it, but I did. What advice would you give to somebody who's in my position and they don't even want to try because maybe they feel like they're not going to get a position within their company? Like, what do you say to them?
I would say it doesn't hurt to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to ask. Like when I was, at Dealer CMO, I would always like pitch Ed, our boss, like different things. Like, hey, I think I want to do sales a little bit. Do you mind if I try that? And he was always open to that. Hey, I want to try marketing our own product, right? What do you think about that? Like you have to take the opportunity. People are not going to just say like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to do something extra, right?
Yeah.
You have to take the opportunity to say, try to contribute to your own future. Take control. Take the bull by the horns, right?
Yeah.
And
or the ram by the horns.
Ram by the horns. And if you want to make something happen, try to make it happen. I think when people see like, oh, this guy's coming to my office trying to pitch me different ideas, this guy's really thinking about our product or our company. He's going above and beyond the company instead of just in his little role and happy with what he does in his little box.
Yeah.
They might not always say yes. I've had CEOs say no to me, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, just try, right?
Yeah.
Just try. Don't be afraid to be rejected. And I think a lot of people too, they in the beginning when they're starting into a path, right? They want the gold right away, right? They're not willing to say work for free or work for just very, very low wage to get that experience that they want, so that they can actually get into that industry or that field. Right? So like a lot of people, especially in marketing, right? They just I want to do marketing. How do I start my own agency? Right? That's not the right question you should be asking when you're new. The question is, how do I get into a marketing agency? Maybe I can intern there for free in exchange for experience.
Yep.
Right? That's more valuable than the money that you're going to be paid, like $11, $12, $13 an hour, whatever it is, right? That is short term, but like the long term of getting the right experience is a lot more valuable.
Okay, so that was extremely valuable. I think that's gonna hit super hard. So so two things I want to touch on before. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Podio, and then after that, I want to go into your background because I'll touch on that in a little bit. But Podio, so Podio has been an absolute game changer for me. Everything that I do now, literally everything that I do starts with Podio, right? So, for example, I have a client right now who has a debt collection company, and it's a very kind of esoteric knowledge for the type of debt collection that she does. There's maybe 100 people doing it throughout the United States, but it's one of the biggest opportunities that I've ever seen. For one of my clients, right? Like a lot of my clients do very different things, but with hers, like it's so old school. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's developing it. Nobody's talking about it. So they think that, like, for example, these processes that they're doing, that they're the only people who can do them. So she had an idea. She's like, I feel like I could take this thing to like $1 million a month. And then if we create the right system, I think it could do 10 million plus a month. And so I spent some time with her and I was like looking through everything. And after spending time with her, I broke down her business extremely simple. And, I was like, hey, here's the top 3 KPIs that I've seen. Do you agree? And, for her, number 1 is research. Second is getting assignments. Third is collecting, right? So we broke it down very simple. And she's like, yeah, but, the research process, it's so complicated. It took me years to figure this out. And I said, okay, great. So why don't you tell me about this research process? And literally, like, as she's telling me everything that she does in this research process, I go into Podio. I'm creating like a freaking field for every single thing. And I'm like, okay, great. So you're telling, and then I show her the form and I'm like, so you're telling me that if I figure out all of these fields, if I fill out this entire thing, then my research is done. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, great. We can get someone like in Latin America or the Philippines to do this for you. And at first she was very resistant, but pretty much, now she has two full-time people doing her research for her, which saves her an extreme amount of time. Podio has developed to become, to basically not just help out on the research side, but also like in every part of the business. So whenever I'm looking to solve problems within business, I'm always thinking about how would I build this out in Podio so that I could have other people do it. These podcasts that we're doing right now, we said we're gonna shoot podcasts. And we're going to go short form podcasts. And the entire management of all the projects, everything I built inside of Podio. So,
It's fun.
dude, I mean, it's not even. I just love it, bro.
Love it.
And you
I
put
get it.
and you put me onto it, dude.
Okay.
How do you use Podio? And maybe why should people use Podio or something like it?
Okay, so I think especially for small businesses, or maybe you're not tech savvy and things like that, right? You still need a tool to organize your workflow, especially when you start getting employees and things like that. And spreadsheets and stuff like that might be good when you're in your baby stage, but at some point you gotta grow up and get a real management tool. I think the thing I liked a lot about Podio was it was very, very customizable, right? And it can do what you need it to do, how you need it to organize, not exactly everything to a T, but I feel like it's very close in terms of
90%,
customization, right?
yeah.
95% for sure. Especially when you buy the upgraded like automated workflow package, GlobiFlow, man, that changes the whole game.
Hey, what's your Podio bill per month?
It's not that much. It's like less than 200.
Dude, you know how much my Podio bill is?
No.
It's $48 a month.
Right? Yeah.
You know how many people I have on it?
Hella people, right?
Bro, but my business partner for his other business uses Monday.com, which are they have a few cool features that Podio doesn't have. Fine, but dude, their bill is like $3,000 a month for Monday.
Insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So and we pay $48 a month, and man, I have probably like 80 people in Podio, bro, using it on a daily basis. Because all right, so here's the hack for Podio. So if you go and you sign up and you basically have everybody who's using it use their company emails, it's going to rack up your bill because for every company email you use, it's going to charge you per month. However, you can have unlimited users that are outside of your company's email. So if you just have them use a Gmail instead, they have the full functionality of Podio, and you don't have to pay for it. Back to you.
I hope this podcast doesn't go viral because Podio might shut that down.
Dude, I don't care. Hey, we love Podio. If you guys quadrupled our bill, I wouldn't be bad.
In the meantime, use it to your advantage. But anyway, Podio's great. I think I've implemented Podio in your company, like a previous company I was at, and also Dealer CMO, right? I kind of forced it on them because I was like, you know what, our department is using Podio, so if you need us, you gotta hit up Podio. We're not accepting any post-it notes or anything.
Yeah.
And this team started using it, and they're like, oh, this is pretty good, and Ed eventually rolled it out to the entire department.
Dude, because it's crazy because when you're starting to build a company, you don't think you think you have 3, 4, 5 different softwares, and at the beginning that's fine, but when you start scaling and then you start adding team members, and people start having to share responsibilities within processes, and then you have all these different softwares, it turns into a fucking mess, right? But if you just bring it all in one, obviously Podio is not perfect.
Right.
There's other softwares that look better, that are faster, are sexier, are whatever. But you know what, dude? Podio fucking works. So highly recommend. If you guys you guys haven't ever heard of them, check it out.
And use my promo code SHAPESHIFT.
Dude, do they even have an affiliate? No, they don't, huh? Bro, because Podio is dude, it's like the one that nobody knows about. It's not highly promoted. It's like, you know what it is, bro? Because it's made by Citrix, this huge multi-billion-dollar company. It's like their little fucking pet project. It's not even anything serious to them. But it's great for us.
It's reliable. It doesn't load a bunch of fancy graphics and take up your memory. It just works.
All right. So Sam, you are Vietnamese.
Right.
Full Vietnamese.
Full Vietnamese.
Okay.
I've never done a 23andMe, so I think I'm full Vietnamese.
Okay. So for me, man, I take a lot of pride in being Latino and being somebody who looks like me in the industry that I'm in, because there's not a lot of us, right? And I think especially for the Vietnamese community, man, you're right there with us Latinos, right? So with that being said, man, tell us about your upbringing, and is your culture important to you? Yes, no? Tell us all about it.
Okay, my upbringing, I grew up in Oakland, California, right? Super in poverty. My family stayed at a 1-bedroom, but we shared it with 5 people. So we had beds in the living room, we had beds in the kitchen, right? And so, lined up at the Salvation Army on Christmas to get free presents and stuff. So it was that level of poverty, right? I think there was always like when you grow up like in the hood, like there's always this aspiration to be like a businessman, a hustler, right? You listen to rap music, and it was all about making your own moves, being a boss, and not being tied to a 9 to 5. 9 to 5, which there's no issue with that. It was just the stuff that was ingrained in me, in my surroundings, in my environment. So I always had aspirations to do my own business. I remember in middle school I started flipping Pokemon cards and stuff like that. That was like my first hustle,
Wait, what's the Pokemon card you made the most money on?
God, I don't remember. Like it's been so long.
Yeah.
And I had like a few hustles. So I started doing like drop shipping and stuff in high school and stuff like that. But anyway, I always had little business aspirations. When I was in college, that was when I started my first, I would say, real business of selling car decals online, and that was the business where I started experimenting with marketing and things like that.
But where did you go to college, and what were you studying, and where did you work? Okay, you had your hustle that you came up with, but did you have to work throughout college?
So I think a hack, if you're in college, is you should be like in the restaurant industry, right? Because you can actually make fat tips as a waiter. Or I remember like I was comparing like my paycheck, and I only worked on weekends, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My paycheck was way more than my housemate, who was a full-time doing a student bus driver job, right? So 40 hours a week, 5 days a week doing a student bus driver, and I made more than him working 3 days, right? And so I did work in college as well. But what was the other question you had?
What college you go? It's fine. What college did you go to, and what was your major?
UC Davis. I didn't really know what I was gonna do in college. It was just the school where a lot of my friends got accepted to. I happened to get accepted to too, so I was like, okay, this is high school part 2. I'm gonna go over there, figure out my future. And Davis is a science school, right? So it's really good when you're studying to be a vet or science. Those fields. It's not really great for business. I think the closest field that we had was economics, right? And that's really not
it's not
tied into business, but that was the closest thing. So I graduated from UC Davis with a degree in economics. And when I graduated, this was the worst time to graduate with an economics degree, because this was a 2009 recession when the economy was going down.
Dude, so you were in the college through the middle of all that.
When I graduated right into the recession.
Wow.
Right, and and economics, it's just not really applicable in the real world. The economy's down. Like, okay, we don't need a degree to tell you that. But a lot of the finance jobs require like an accounting degree or like a financing degree or something like that. I didn't have that.
So you couldn't even qualify for that.
I couldn't. So, but I knew I wanted to do marketing. Like when I graduated, right after I graduated and had the degree, I was like, I want to do marketing, right? And so I applied to so many marketing positions, right? That was my tunnel vision. Like, I need to break into the marketing field. This is what I care about, right? And I remember, like, I was unemployed for, like, I think a year or 2, right? Just staying at home, doing nothing. My mom was, like, super disappointed, right? She thought she had raised a failure, right? And she was like...
Is your mom, like, more Vietnamese or more American?
She's more Vietnamese. She's super Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yeah. Asian parents. Or any parent, right? When you graduate from college, they expect you to do something.
Yeah, of course,
right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't, and I remember she was telling me like, hey, the Walgreens down the street is hiring, or like, Walmart, I saw some positions open, right? And I absolutely refused. I was like, if I get that job, I'm gonna get comfortable. I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna get grinded down by that 9 to 5. And I'm not going to pursue marketing. I'm gonna get comfortable. I might get promoted to a manager, and then boom, right? I'm locked into that life. So I was like, nope, I'd rather starve and then get my juicy steak than just keep eating these scraps, right? So I finally, I think after, I think it was like 2 years and applying to literally over 100 entry-level marketing positions.
No, wait, say that again?
I finally, after being unemployed for 2 years and applying to over 100 entry-level marketing positions. Getting a few interviews, I finally landed an internship, an unpaid internship at Dealer CMO. And you know where that went.
Woo! Okay, that's a short right there. So here's the thing, man. So all right, for those of you who are listening to that, and you guys apply for 1, 2, 3 jobs, and then you give up, and then you feel like the world's not fucking fair. Okay, this dude in the middle of actually, what year was that you applied for?
So this was a period of I think 2011, 2012.
Okay, so this dude has been at home for a year, so 2 years, whatever, right? He internally knows that there's no fucking way that he's ever going to go work for Walmart or one of these other companies. His standards are way too high inside of it. I think that's the thing about you too, Sam, that I know about you. Your standards are really high. He lives in LA now. He loves rooftop bars. He loves traveling. Dude, this guy's standards are very high, and I think that even back then, you didn't have anything, but you knew what you wanted internally, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you guys who just applied to 1, 2, 3 jobs, dude, this dude applied for over 100, and then he got an unpaid internship. Holy fucking shit!
Yeah.
And that internship is definitely on the on the road to where he's at now, because dude, they don't even know yet how your partnership with your company and whatnot. So let's move into that.
Okay. This is a full circle story. So when I started, interning for Ed, our boss at Dealer CMO, I remember what got me the job, or what he told me later that got me a job, was I wrote a thank you note to them after the interview. And at that time I was reading 50 Cent's book, one of my role models, right? On my office desk, huge poster, Get Rich or Die Trying, of his movie. But I was reading one of his books, and I think, behind 50 Cent the rapper is an incredibly intelligent, genius businessman. So his book, he had mentioned that I think musician Miles Davis, popular musician in the 70s, I believe. I'm not really correct. It might not be correct on that era, but he was a popular musician back then. And they said his success was he constantly surrounded himself with younger artists so that he could always stay relevant, because music is always passing you by, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. He was always collab with younger artists to stay relevant, stay in tune with what's hot, and change his music to those times. So I wrote to Ed, because I saw, his managers that were interviewing me was pretty young too. I was like, hey, I love how your company, you have these managers and they're super young. And I quoted that book. I think making that comparison, right, to what he was doing and what Miles Davis was doing in the music industry. So that's what got me hired. And I worked there for about 4.5 years, and then eventually left that company. Ended up at another company, and we were trying to kind of get Ed's business, right? Use my relationship to get Ed's business to sign up for our services. Yeah. And he was never really interested. And one day we kept in touch, and he had a meeting, and he was like, that's not really interesting, but what do you think about this Facebook thing, right? And I was like, man, I've been trying to push our company, the company I was working at the time, to push this Facebook product. I feel like there's a lot of money in here. There's a lot of opportunity. People aren't doing it correctly, right? And I had to push the CEO at that company to do that, right? Remember, I'm always pitching ideas, right? You got to make shit happen if you believe in it. Yeah. So I'm pitching him this idea. He reluctantly let me, experiment, right, with that. We had some success, but after we got some success, I was like, this could be a whole company. This could be the main revenue driver for this company, right? And he wasn't really, even after some success, he really wasn't bought into it, right? He was like, I don't want to be an agency. I want to be a multi-channel distributor, things like that. He said it just didn't mesh with what the company's going for. Yeah. And meanwhile, Ed saw the need for that, right? Yeah. So I was like, hey, I've been cooking up this product here, I think I got something. Ed's like, that's what I've been looking for, and none of my guys can figure it out, right? So we had to bridge the gap. Yeah. And then we just went to dinner. I think it was just right down there at Ludwig on 2nd. And I just talked to him about briefly about what I was thinking. and he got really, really interested to the point where it's like, I want to see numbers, right? I want to invest, right? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no revenue. This is just an idea on a napkin at this point. He was super serious. And so I was supposed to actually meet you up that day for dinner, but I had to flake because, Ed, thankfully...
no, dude, it worked out well.
Cool. You're cool with it. But, we had some notes, and I, got back to him the next day on, okay, well, if you think this works, here's what I need as an investment. This is the percentage you can buy, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. And so he became my business partner, right? So someone that I interned for, eventually, full circle, after, we kind of separated, he came back to the same spot there, decided this was the move, and he is now a business partner. And he also onboarded a lot of the clients initially responsible for, starting or helping me start this.
And you know what's so incredible too, guys? So, all right, so I meet so many people who are extremely against business partners, and I feel like it's just it's such a closed-minded mentality because, dude, what a fucking power partner you have. I know Ed, I know this guy. This guy is a beast. Okay, this dude is a beast. His come up story is crazy too. Maybe one day we'll get him on the podcast. But basically, what do you say to people who because I'm not going to say lucky, because luck is a stupid word for what happened. You deserve that partnership, but what am I trying to say? First off, what do you say to people who are closed-minded about partners?
About partners? Well, I think people are afraid to give up equity, right? But in the beginning, you have to think well, if I don't have help, if I have this missing gap, right? Even if I have 100% equity, right? But if it never really grows into anything significant, then it's just kind of a waste of your time, right?
You have nothing.
So you kind of have to be aware of what your weaknesses are, right? And if first of all, have you started a successful business previously? If not, most likely your business is going to fail. That's just stats, right? My first business failed. Many people start multiple businesses before they actually get one that actually is successful and profitable, right? So you got to think, do you want, 50, 60, 70% of a bigger pie? Or do you want 100% of something that could never even grow?
Yes.
You got to ask yourself those questions.
And also, what I love about your partnership too is I feel like your partnership is a powerful one because you have a strategic partner. Right, so because there's a lot of people who get into partnerships. It's like, hey, I'm broke and have an idea. You're broke and believe in my idea. Let's get together and build something. And do those work out? Sometimes, sure, absolutely. But how much better is it when I'm like, hey, I have this idea, and you have resources, you have clients, you have this. You're already doing millions of dollars. Okay, I think we can add a few million more if we just add this here.
Yeah.
And because what you did. You hacked the flagship client.
Yeah.
Because for me, you know how long it took me to get my flagship client, the one that was able to pay all of my expenses and that big client so that I can go focus and build the company.
Yeah.
Longer than I wish I would have started with a partner like you did, even owning less, but the ability to grow way faster and secure. And I mean, bro, you probably never lost sleep at night thinking oh, my company's gonna go out of business, or maybe you did.
I think every entrepreneur, realistic entrepreneur, has those fears.
But with your partners, did your partnership make you feel more confident that it wouldn't?
Yes and no.
Okay. Talk about it.
Yes, I had some investment, right? So we had some money, we had some clients, but at the beginning, at the very beginning, I still wasn't sure if this idea would actually pan out, right? We still didn't figure out the right processes to run for dealerships. We had a bunch of cancellations in the beginning, right? We ran into, things that you don't know how to deal with on Facebook. For example, our accounts getting flagged and entirely shut down, right? For days and stuff. We just didn't really know the entire space of it. Working in Facebook ads, I'll tell you, anyone that wants to work in it, it is a huge headache. And they always are changing stuff around. They're always flagging you and stuff like that. So I had to learn how to work around that. So yeah, there was still a lot of fear in yeah, I have a partner, but this ship could still go down and never actually grow into like a successful business, right? Just because I had some investments and a few clients didn't guarantee anything.
Yeah, I love that. See, and bro, like this is one thing that scares me about like working with these bigger companies. Like I had an Amazon dropshipping store that grew to like 30K a month, and they froze my account and kept all my money for like 5 months, right? Like that sucked. These bigger companies, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these, when your company's structured around their platforms, you're like at their
mercy.
Dude, that's scary. Okay, so dude, I feel like now what I want to focus on. So now you guys know. So Sam's proven his expertise to you guys. You guys know that this is a real ass motherfucker right here. Okay, this guy's a ninja.
So because I'm Asian.
Boy, you a ninja because you in the cuts and you quiet, bro. You're a dude.
Okay.
Yo, that it's not because you Asian, bro. I guess ninjas, bro. The most famous ninja in the world's white, and he's on Twitch.
Oh, that guy. Nah, that's cultural appropriation.
Oh my god. Well, so now you guys know he's real. You know a little bit about his background. And bro, you know what, dude? How did it feel when you bought your mom a car? I remember, bro, when you posted, you bought her. How does that feel? Corolla. Well, it doesn't matter what kind of car it is, bro. This dude bought his mom a car cash.
No.
Okay,
I put a down payment on it, but
tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Don't buy it all cash like a rapper.
Bro, most people will never ever get to buy their parents a vehicle ever. How did that feel?
It felt great. It felt full circle because I remember when I was in college, my mom, saved up money to buy me a car so I could go to college.
Yeah.
And it felt like that was the start of me being able to like financially take care of her, right? And so yeah, it felt good because like I'm the only child, so no one else is going to take care of her, and I feel like it's a trade-off, right? She takes care of you when you're a baby. You can barely talk or defend yourself or feed yourself, and then as you get older and you get more mature, you have more resources and their health is declining, you gotta take care of them.
Okay, so someone out there right now is in the middle of their Facebook agency process. Someone out there right now is struggling. They're fucking depressed right now. Shit's not going well. Maybe their accounts are shutting down. Like I literally want you to look at that camera and I want you to speak to that person and and in short segments so we can cut it down. 30 seconds to 1 minute each, or 30 seconds to a minute and a half each. Tell them, uplift them.
Okay, so everything that you're dealing with, accounts shutting down, clients canceling, all that stuff, I have been there before. This space is incredibly difficult to be in, especially if you're trying to sell to car dealers, right? I feel like that's probably one of the hardest niches to sell to and retain and stuff like that. You have to really ask yourself, like, do you really want this? Is this what you're really passionate about? Because that is what really gets you through the tough days, right? If you're just in this for the money, if you just hear it's a get-rich-quick scheme or it's easy to make money online, like when those moments happen, you're gonna give up. You're gonna feel like giving up, right? But if you're truly passionate about helping your clients, putting out a good product, crushing your competition, you think your competition sucks and you can provide a much better product. You can provide a much better product. That confidence, that belief in your product and the passion is going to get you up on the days you're down. I've had those days where I was like, man, this is not working out, like questioning, like my failing business, just laying. I've had days where I'm laying on the floor, like said, like, man, I don't think I can get up and work. Like this is too much, right? But do you really want it? That's the thing. Do you really want it? If you do, you will get up and you will persevere, and there will be better times ahead.
Okay,
we'll figure it out.
So now the same person who you're talking to, probably a big reason why they're depressed and fucked up is because their focus is fucked up. For a Facebook marketing agency, okay, especially someone who's at the beginning stages, tell them what they should be focusing on.
Okay, so in the beginning, you might not know what your niche is, right? I feel like you should have some type of idea, though, of a path you're trying to pursue. Maybe you have a few different ideas, right? So say you land clients. Let's say, in the beginning, if you don't have the expertise or you don't have the experience, you don't have the reputation, you should offer clients, hey, can I run your ads for free, right? People that you know, hey, I think I can help your business. Can I run it for free? Like, again, people are always trying to think about the short-term cash, right? It's the experience that's really valuable. So get some clients under your belt, right? Figure it out. And I feel like if you're not sure what your niche is, you get a few different clients, you're going to see, hey, I can actually do a pretty good job for client A. Client B, man, that's rough one. That's a tough one, right? And there's so much learning time, or there's so much I need to do for client B versus client A. I set them up, they're pretty good to go. And then you should probably lean into that, right? Lean into your successes. And eventually niche down, right? Eventually, when you grow bigger, when you're scaled, when you have hundreds of clients, you can think about selling them other products or like getting into different avenues. But I think in the beginning, when you're kind of starting out, you really should figure out what you're really good at and then just go on that. And that way, it's easier to train people, it's easier to scale, it's easier to onboard, right? There's one process. So, yeah.
All right, now this is a different person who, they're doing enough to now, if they want to quit their full-time job, they can, but they're too fucking scared. What do you tell them?
So I'm probably the worst person to ask this question. I have quit my job 2 times to jump all into companies that was making zero money at the time, right? Fortunately, the second time, and that I feel like, that doesn't happen quite often, that the second time you just get it right? What do I say to people that are afraid? I would say, if you can afford it, take risks. So obviously you have to have some savings saved up, right? I would say to last you 10 months, right? You should have that, like 10 months. If you would not make a dime from your business, can you have enough savings to last 10 months and be able to focus on this business all in? The good side to that is when you have no revenue and your bank account is going down, you're gonna work your ass off to make sure that this business, gets off its feet, right? But if you don't have those savings, then do what most people do, which is work a day job, and at nighttime hustle, eat dinner, right? Like Gary Vee says, eat dinner, kiss the dog, and then hustle from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yep. All right, guys. So with that being said, Sam, I appreciate you hopping on here. Guys, make sure that you guys go check out his company website, which is
shapeshiftgroup.com.
And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, you're a very private person. Okay, and that's one thing about Sam. Like I don't even know if he's gonna be like our other guests and just give away his IG. But let's say that somebody wanted to get a hold of you from this podcast. They listen, they're inspired, they want to ask a question, reach out for mentorship, something. How do they get a hold of you?
They can just message the Shapeshift Group Instagram, and I might get back to them. I'm so focused on running my business, right? That I get requests all the time to coach and things like that. I might explore that down the road. Definitely have some ideas to do that, but right now all I'm focusing on is selling to car dealerships. But hey, it doesn't hurt, right, to send a DM, and if I don't answer it right away, I might at some point, down the road.
Dude, you're like the hot chick that's just unattainable, bro. Like that's the thing with you, bro. You're like the in business. Yeah. And see, this is why I feel so special about this interview, because, bro, if somebody else asked you to be on the podcast that you didn't know personally, would you accept?
I would probably have to look at how much exposure they're getting, right? Yeah. So I didn't even ask you what this podcast was about, what your numbers are. I was like, okay, I'm there. Let's talk about anything you want to talk about.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But hey, relationships will take you guys far. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We're out.
Audi like an R8.
All right. I got to take a piss.
Okay.
Whew. Bro, that was